Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
So this topic is going to be a little different from what you're accustomed to. Welcome to Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, and I've coined a word specifically for this conversation, and it's called realness. Because when you have friends where you don't have to speak to them all the time, it might be a year sometimes where you don't talk to them or you're not even in touch with them. But then when you connect, you really connect. Hence, realness is what we're about today. So the topic this time around is, how do I know of this realness, and then how do I maintain this? And for me to talk about this, I have with me Neon Nation, who is my friend. He's a brand strategist and founder of Splint. Welcome, Neon.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to tell you what triggered this topic. Neon lives in Argentina. He's been doing that now for several years. Mm-hmm. I have known Neon since he was in high school.
Right.
Neon and I don't necessarily talk or communicate all
right.
the time. But Neon was coming to Mandeville, and Neon felt that somehow he needed to connect with me. Why?
Right. So give the backdrop as well. Mm-hmm. I think I had decided to come to Mandeville for to meet up with an uncle of mine, to catch up and to talk about business related stuff. And as soon as it was decided that I was coming to Mandeville, the next thought was, I need to reach out to Noreen. We need to catch up with Noreen. And then on my way to your office, I like to analyze situations as they happen or moments as they happen. And I was asking myself, why is it that, the question was, why are we friends? Mm-hmm. Why do I feel the need to constantly connect with you whenever I'm around? There is no ulterior motive. There is no monetary value that I'm trying to get, or there's no material thing to tie it, or no circumstantial thing. Like, put bluntly, if we never saw each other ever again, maybe our lives would never be any different. But somehow seeing each other again seems to add something to our lives. I guess that's the way I'm seeing it now that I'm talking about it.
Right.
But the question was, why? And I couldn't come up with an answer. And I said, well, that's a good thing, because I have no motives. I have no intentions other than just connecting and spending time. I like spending time. I like the conversations that we have. I like the feeling that I have after having met and having spent time. And why not continue to do that?
Let me give people some history. So years ago, I met Neon through a professional context, because at the time I was the president for Past Students Association for the high school that both of us went to.
Right.
So I saw him as just one of these active guys in the high school, and I realized that the high school used him up a lot to do different things. I think it's true that we met. We finished high school.
Right.
We still somehow maintained that connection.
Right.
You went away to school. We still maintain that connection. You came back recently. You got married, invited me to your wedding, and all that. But I recognize that I will meet people in different contexts, and then that context will shift, meaning that it will evolve into that of a personal nature. When the shift happened, I do not know. I cannot track it, and I'm not going to sit here and track it.
Right.
And that speaks to how real this connection is.
Right.
Because if it was that it was just about our connection because of the high school both of us went to,
right,
that experience, I'm no longer the president of that organization, we would have disconnected.
right.
But instead of us disconnecting, I think our connection actually strengthened even when we both evolved into other things.
Right.
I know one of the things that connects me with people and for me tests the realness of the connection for me is when I can actually sit and converse with somebody about different things besides what it is that we connected about in the first place.
Right.
So I think for me, that's one of the things that I think had me recognize that Niall and I have a connection.
Right.
And I believe even your siblings, I think, because I know several of your siblings, but of all your siblings, I think you and I have just always had a special connection.
Right.
Yeah. And the realness of it is that I'm saying I can't measure it. I'm not sure when it happened. And I've found that in life that sometimes you don't have to question everything. You don't have to analyze every single thing. Take it for what it is and work with it.
Right. I know while I'm here listening and I'm mulling over all of it, I can't myself tell you when or at what moment it transitioned from mere, circumstantial connection to meaningful, real relationship. I think, like you said, a lot has to do with, I think there's a mutual respect, admiration, and I think a mutual curiosity about the operations of each other's brains. And I think there is a mutual admiration for the way our brains function and the way we assess things. And I think we're constantly trying to, constantly try to drum up new ways to
see what's next.
To drum up new experiences, and just out of real interest in each in each other and in each other's well-being. So I can't tell what exactly it is that binds us, but I know that regardless of where I am, and funny enough, there are a number of times when you'll pop into mine, and some of those times, I'll probably shoot a little message, or sometimes I wouldn't shoot a message. I think there are some relationships that they're better. It's better to have them in person, because I think trying to add mileage points sometimes cheapen the connection or the authenticity, in an attempt to reassure yourself or to reassure the validity of the friendship or the connection. You operate on a wavelength that is not characteristic of your friendship. If it sounds like mumble jumble, let me put it in the realest terms possible. Sometimes if you don't have a relationship that works best via text message or WhatsApp, whenever you have time to spend with each other, you just go at it.
That's right.
And don't try to cheapen it by just throwing a little time. Because for some relationships, quantity matters. And for other relationship, it's all about quality. If you have 1 minute, focus that 1 minute on connecting. And make it just about that. A lot of times there are relationships that because you spend more time, it's divided time. So that genuine relationship, that genuine connection now becomes clogged up not clogged up, becomes cluttered or covered by just formality and cluttered by, superficiality.
Yes.
So
yes. It's interesting you should say that, because a lot of times when we talk about maintaining friendships, we talk about that people really don't have any excuse anymore not to stay in touch, because of the different technological advances. But you said something just now that really resonated with me, that if it is that it's not that kind of friendship, basically take it for what it is and work with it. And it's true. And it's once it is that there's an understanding, and then again it goes to the realness of the connection. Because seeing you and not being in touch with you, none of us said to the other, Wagwan, I hear from you that. It's not about that. It's about, hey, we're in this space. We can have a conversation and talk. We don't need to talk about that, or we don't need to get into, but you didn't send me a message. No, it's not about that. It's about just staying in the moment, being present in the moment, and just making the most of it until we see each other again.
And I think two things that I'll just draw from that, which is I think a lot of times we're hyper connected. We're just connected to every aspect of everybody's life at all times, but we're not necessarily really trying to connect with the person on a deeper level. So we're always talking to each other. We spend a lot of time together, but we don't spend time with each other. So we're in the same room, we live in the same house, we talk every day, but I would probably have a stronger connection with a stranger than with the person I see daily. Because it's always about superficiality. When I'm here, because you take for granted the connection, you may not spend time really asking, how are you really doing? What's going on? And actually trying to take in those verbal, non-verbal, and paraverbal cues. Paraverbal being the way in which the verbal is packaged. So all the times, like when you're far away, you miss out on these little cues. Like right now, you're looking at me, your hands on your face, just not saying anything, but just trying to like drink in what I'm saying and trying to process it. On the phone, I can't take that. I don't know what frame of mind you're in. I don't know if you say yes via text. I don't hear if it was a yes or a yes. I can't tell which of the yeses it was. And I think driving even further into that, I think one of the things I really love about our friendship or relationship is I feel a genuine interest in my growth and development, and I think it's mutual. I'm always interested in, what's going on for you, like, how has life been to you? How have you grown? Not in terms of accolades or in terms of positions, but you've fought battles during this year and this past time that we've been together. How has that affected you? Have you become stronger? Have you gotten weaker? If you've gotten stronger, how has that affected your overall life? If you got weaker, like why did that happen? How can I, in this brief moment that I have with you, dial in and try to help you feel heard and maybe offer some insights to, like, we're in the struggle together. It's okay. Just genuine interest beyond material and beyond trying to shape our relationship into something else. Like, honestly, it's just curiosity of wondering, where will this go?
Yeah.
And being okay with wherever it goes.
Yeah. I'll tell you one of the things, listeners, that I appreciate about Neon. Neon is one of those persons when I have a conversation with them. There's a song I think that says things that make you go, Neon is one of those persons that make me go, when I'm finished having a conversation with him, because it is a conversation where I'm left thinking, and I appreciate that, because people think because of the environment that I'm in, I have a lot of those conversations. I don't, sadly. So I appreciate that you listen and you have me thinking or shifting my perspective on things that to people would probably seem mundane and normal. And I appreciate that about you. And for me, I have always seen you as a big man in a young person's body, if you know what I mean. Because the conversations that I can have with you, I don't necessarily have them with people my age. So, and I've never been one, and that is why I've never been one to think that age is what determines maturity. Because I do think that you're a mature man because you are a thinker.
I'll take that however I'm supposed to take that.
Yeah, because you're a thinker. Yeah, you are. So don't take that lightly. Yeah. Don't take that lightly.
I'll take it with humility and with gratitude, and just be thankful to God that I am able to have conversations of varied natures with you and with other people, and just take it for whatever it is. I think I always try just to be curious, a little bit curious about life and everything, and well, I just take it as it is.
My final thoughts on this though is that I'll say to people, when it is that you feel a strong connection with someone, and if you feel it's a real connection, don't question it, don't overanalyze it, take it for what it is, revel in the moment spent with the person, and just enjoy life and enjoy the person.
Right. You couldn't have said it any better. I say it all of the times. To friends, if I don't get to spend any more time with you moving forward, I would at least have cherished the moments that we spent together, all the quality time we spent together. If a friendship dissolves, I still have those memories. You're still a part of my life. I can't remove that. If a friendship becomes sour, we still had good times, and I'm grateful for the good times that we've had. If I pass tomorrow, hopefully I was the best friend that I could have been to you, and I think that's all it is. Just being grateful for each moment, being grateful for the fact that life put us together, and we decided to continue to be together on that journey. And to me, that's a lot to be grateful for.
This was Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.